Here's something a little different. We have a tank sitting on a stand. It's almost like sitting on a cabinet, but there's no like wrap around the bottom of the tank. Interesting way to present the tank. Haven't seen one like that before, but hey, look, I like that the bottom part of the tank is black as opposed to that 1980s oceanic, like my first 75-gallon tank. All right, so this looks like this owner probably drilled this tank. We've got an overflow box in the back. We've got a return standpipe on the left. Curious why there isn't one on either side. If I was drilling it, I'd put one on either side, but maybe he got one hole down and he's like, I'm not going to press my luck, and he let it go with that. All right, looks we got some, maybe some J-Bow power heads here, and a lower type of aquascape. So, my personal tastes are not for the lower type of aquascapes. Now this is lower third, and I like how on the left side, it's higher than on the right. It's got a little bit of a dip here, and then a lower section, and it looks like it pulls back around towards the front, towards the first front corner. So that's interesting. That's an interesting kind of twist to it. A lot of these low aquascapes, it's like one rock, two rock. Hey, we're aquascaped. I'm like, no. So we've got some caves on this one. We've got kind of some fingers out to the front. I like it, okay? So this is, again, I would build things up more, but I still like what he's done despite being a lower type of aquascape. This looks like a softy-ish, some hard corals here. Big old, I don't even know what that is up front. That's like, it's definitely not a Calicera, not a candy cane. It'd be like the biggest candy cane ever. Probably some kind of Lobo here. So some of you watching this are going to say, hey, these corals don't look very good. He's got these lights on probably like a 10K, maybe even 6K setting. Helps for filming. Not necessarily the most prettiest thing in the world when it comes to, looking at the corals, but it works for the camera. So that's why it looks this way. It's also showing all the algae around there. But look, okay, so this is something a lot of aquarists get bent out of shape on. They're like, oh my gosh, there's algae in this tank. This guy needs to clean up his tank. Okay, there's some algae around, but that's telling me that we got some biodiversity going on. This tank's got some maturity behind it. I'm all right with it. I've been in plenty of reefs all around the world and seen algae, seen cyanobacteria, so I'm not looking for something to be totally sterile. Okay, got a chalk bass saying hello to us up front. Those I've seen a lot more of in the hobby recently. Little guys. Oh, there's the 6-line wrasse. I hope he's well behaved. He's not beating the snot out of the chalk bass. They got some zoas over there on the bottom. This is a bare bottom tank, so he lets himself grow corals on the bottom of the tank, which makes for an interesting application. Bare bottoms are not something I'm a fan of because I like the look of sand, and so you can see it in my tank behind me. All right, so we got some mushrooms here. We've got a mix here. We've got some SPS, we've got some LPS, we've got some softies, we've got some Xenia on the back. Okay, so everyone knows how I feel about Xenia. If you haven't, where have you been for the past couple of years? He put it on the back. All right, so that looks kind of cool, I have to say. Like, that's an interesting presentation. It's on the back. It almost looks like little trees hanging off the back or bouquet of flowers stuck on the back. Over time, that's going to overgrow the wall, and he can take it off pretty easily. The thing about Xenia is it pops off, it grows somewhere else, and you don't have much control. So, this is a mixed reef tank. He may like it. I like the application. I like where he put it. Keep an eye on it. As this tank gets more successful, you're probably going to want to get rid of it. But that jumped out at me. I dig it. We got some clowns up front, confused. Where's the anemone, buddy? Can't you go hang out in a torch coral or something? Got a sailfin tang and the yellow tang who doesn't want anything to do with the camera. All right, so look, this is where the aquascaping that I like is coming in. Kind of it floats off like this, like a finger towards the front of the tank. If you imagine that the bottom of the screen is the front of the tank, and the finger kind of comes out like this. So you have some depth and dimension from that, and it's a great way to present corals. We've got these LPS up front. We got a little clam here, cool, here as well. That's cool. Look, I would put some zoas up there. He may have one other places in the tank, so let's keep rolling. But look, we've got corals up front. We've got other corals in the back. The bigger corals get to go in the back where they need more light and where they're going to take up more space. The smaller stuff is up front so you can see it. Nice work there. All right, so this SPS thing in the center here, it's probably not dead. It's probably, yellowish, greenish, and just doesn't look good under this temperature of lighting. We've got some gorgonians over here. getting blown over to the right here. We've got 2 wave makers on this tank, so this is why I would switch your flow. So like Gorgonian isn't sitting here like this the whole time. Mix it up a little bit. That may just be where you were filming. The flow's all on that side. I'm not a fan of the gyre where it's all one direction and then all the other. Mix it up, get that Gorgonian standing up and looking great. We've got the A-can, which of course is red and blue. They always change that direction. We've got a chalice here on the bottom and another chalice over there to the right. That's an interesting looking chalice, even under this daylight type of lighting setting. I dig it. We've got more corals here growing on the bottom of the tank, which you can only do on bare bottom tanks. There's lots of depth on this aquascaping. Got some some favias here. I'm also noticing, look at the growth on the rocks. Okay, everyone looking at the corals, but I'm also looking at what's on the rocks. We've got some coralline, we've got some other type of red encrusting algae, different colors there. This is telling me this tank is mature, and it's telling me that this tank is biodiverse, which I like. So this is some of the things about reef keeping that's great. Like a lot of people are like, well, where's the fish? Where are the corals? They're there, but you can also get a lot of appreciation for what's on the live rock and understand everything that's going on there. Just the biodiversity of algae and biomass and other funk that's on the rocks. That's a nice favia over there to the right. I wonder how long that's been there. That looks like it's got some years on it. Okay, come on. I know not all the gyres are the easiest to clean, especially the first generation ones, but come on, home slice. At least clean your power head before you submit it to a React show. All right, looks like we've got some Current USA pumps there on the back. We got some GSP on the back. It's like everyone knows how I feel about GSP and Xenia, so they put it in their tanks and submit it to the show, which is okay. I'm just saying. We got a little frag rack here as well. All right, so this, in a way, is more of a budget type of tank. Nothing wrong with that, but it's not something that you might see with all the bells and whistles. At least we haven't seen under the tank yet. In the tank, though, things are growing. Things are starting to take off. We got some stuff doing really, really well. Even that SPS colony that's there in the center, it's not like it's a 1-inch frag. Look, that thing's got some growth on it. And then I'm back to this wide shot of the tank with no wrap on the bottom. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just interesting. I haven't seen that before. I like that it's got a canopy on it. I personally would have put some kind of trim around the bottom, but again, at least it's black, not the mid-80s oceanic oak. All right, let's take a look underneath this tank. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a little side shot for us. Nice down the way look. Here we go. Now we're into the fish room, which looks like a meth lab, but that's all right. A lot of reefers' fish rooms look like that. We got testers. We got jugs of stuff. We got the... Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's cool. We got like the plastic garden hose. Hopefully it's plastic. Garden hose spigot. That's kind of fun. Like most of us use true ball valves, but hey, he's got a garden hose spigot on there. Complete with garden hose hookup. That's kind of cool. I dig it. We've got more jugs. I mean, this like it's a DIY stand, but look, it's built well. He painted it. It's solid. I dig it. So we've got RODI lines coming in, lines going out. And I like that he put a valve on there. If I ever had to shut this thing off, he's got that valve right there. Oh, this jumps right down, I bet, into his mixing vat underneath. This is where he pulls his water from. I thought I saw a Neptune Systems dose, so we can do automatic water change. Nice, like, ventilation hatch from a boat. I dig it. It's different. This is, like, cool. All right, so here's the Neptune Systems dose. This is doing the automatic water change. And it's just sitting, I mean, you got to have the blue bucket with the butterflies on the back to make your mixing station complete. Look, this room has got personality. I'm used to putting like mixing stations with the nice white containers, which is cool. Like people are looking for that out of a VIP build. But like this is like an average everyday reefer. He's got boxes and stuff and a flower pot. I mean, I need a flower pot in my new fish room. Plastic bags of red Solo cups mixed in with your Dixie plates so you can have a barbecue with your buddies when they come over. Might smell like nori, but they don't care. They're fish geeks. I mean, I dig it. Like, this is cool. Like, everything he owns as fish is right here in his fish room. That's where he's got the old refractometer. Who knows how many, looks like Instant Ocean buckets or Home Depot bucket lids there. I mean, this guy's well equipped for the zombie fish apocalypse. He's got it all. And then right around the corner here, right around to the fish room. So it's pretty convenient. It's right behind the tank, which is great. Makes it easy to do water changes. Oh, he's got a little roller mat on here too. Look, he's got like the 1 gallon jug with the wide mouth. Probably, I'm guessing, for his trident waste or his skimmate waste. And look, nice smooth cabinets on the front of this. Okay, so he doesn't have a side cabinet, but look, it pops right off, no hinges, and he has lots of access underneath his tank. That's cool. A little roller mat here overlooks like a cryptic section of his sump. There's a section, that's a section that's not a lot of flow, but a lot of live rock there. That's kind of the back in the day where, like, if you have a lot of live rock in your tank, then you don't need a skimmer. Like, well, it doesn't work that way, but it was cool while it lasted. We got the skimmer here. Pipes coming in from the other side of the wall. The old looks like par 38 grow light. Nothing in the Refugium yet, but a nice size Refugium given the tank. We've got some horsepower here and some depth behind it. I would personally put a mangrove there. You can really get those roots to come down in there. You're not going to have a lot of height for growing a mangrove, but you get cool root systems while you're at it. Nice little calcium reactor here, getting it done for, dosing kind of makeup on this tank. Almost looks like a DIY type of reactor, but it's working for him. Okay, so I could say something about the cords underneath, but look, I mean, it's not horrible. I don't see anything that's an electrical fire hazard that's getting splashed. It's tucked in here, but he's got a lot of his Apex stuff over to the right. There's no risk of it getting splashed. And look, he's using all the space that he's got, right? He's got a little section next to the tank, where he has room to expand. He's got some pipes running around. This is a great example of using all your space, and I love how, like, the bar stools conceal the line going around the corner. Let's see what we got around the staircase here. Maybe there's another tank. Oh, it's a chiller. Okay, so check this out. The pipe to the chiller goes around into the other room. Now, look, ideally, you would have that chiller outside, but at least he's not putting it right next to the tank. He's put it in the other room where there's likely a lot of flow. Hopefully there's a return air for the house there. And it gets the heat away from the tank. That's a great way to kind of mitigate your evils. Like, you would like to get it out of there, the house, but you can't, so you at least put it away in the other room. Got some hydras over this tank, getting the job done. I like how he surface mounted them. Like, they're recessed there. There's no hanging kits, or there's no arms behind the tank. Let's go back and have another look at that. That's pretty cool. It's like they're floating on the top. Hopefully you get enough air around those things. I haven't seen that in a long time. That reminds me of my first Radion that I just recessed on top of my canopy when I was giving the Gen 1 a run. I dig it. This is fun. Like, this is a little bit of a DIY type of tank, different than what we're used to see. But it's getting the job done in a nice compact footprint with a little bit of a fish room that's got everything he's ever owned in it. This is cool. So for those of you that like DIY type of things, you should be watching this, taking notes. He's getting a lot done and not a lot of space. The other thing is he built this stand himself. At least it's homemade, not one from the manufacturer. But look, he's got lots of access here. 3 big open panels. It's open on the sides. He can get in there and work. I like that. If you're looking to do your own project, take notes on that. The more access, the better. A lot of these stands I see, you gotta like crawl through this small hole to get in there and work. You're gonna get tired of it. You're not gonna want to work on your tank. Over time, your tank is gonna show it. This is probably a homemade sump as well, or it's a rimless tank that he decided that he was going to make into a sump. It's got trim on the bottom, so I wonder if he took the trim off the top to make it into a sump. That would be fun. Wonder how long, if he did that, I'd be concerned about that breaking, but for now it's working for the guy. Dig the old par 38, man. Get some algae in there, home slice, like Chlorpa, even Chaeto, mangrove, something. Let's do something with that space there. Look, your tank doesn't look like it has a nutrient problem, but this is a nice setup. Use some more of that Refugium that you got. That's set up. Let's have a look at the wide shot before I go again. Again, for those of you asking for DIY stuff, here you go. Lots of DIY stuff on this tank. The tank is coming into itself. Even though it's a lower Aquascape, I like what he's done with it. He's created the depth, and everyone has that desire for any kind of fish room, even if it's a small one like this guy, but he got a lot done in the space. Again, with a lot of DIY stuff. Nice, refreshing thing to see. Good work on the tank. Keep it up. We'll love to see this thing in the air. once it grows out and see what kind of mods you've done on your system.